Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again, screaming into the void of the internet. I got another one that I wanted to talk about today, and I'm recording it basically right after the other one. Also, I guess it'll be a double upload today. And here's what I was going to talk about: passion, passion, passion. Why are people so passionate about fictional worlds and then so complacent with the real one? And I'm going to talk about this, and I'll probably answer my question immediately. I know why. Because the real world sucks donkey dick. Big time. It really sucks. We all know it, in this world, you're gonna have winners, you're gonna have losers, and most of the people are gonna be losers. A small, select few people will be winners. A lot of people might be mediocre or below mediocre, let's just go ahead and zero. A lot of people are just barely gonna get by, and that's gonna be their entire life. But I find it very odd that people can become so passionate about fictional worlds. They can become so aflame in their heart, if you will, towards these worlds, to the extent that they're willing to come to blows with each other over that stuff. They're willing to come to blows if you, air quotes, disrespected a franchise, if you said something about them, Oh, you're an idiot. My lore evaluation of Dark Souls is infinitely superior because I paid X amount of editors and I did my best to sound like a narration voice and blah blah blah, alright? And then you look at that, and then it's like, if you talk about anything in the real world, the cognitive dissonance just goes away. They start inhaling that copium. Well, the experts know best, and I don't have many years of the military experience, and so I gotta trust their judgment on this one. I mean, hold up, buddy. You essentially just showed that you can see between the lines in this fictional world. Well, of course, because, Madara Uchiha was right in this aspect, and this, that, and the other, and then you're trying to apply, a bit of real-world logic, because listen, let me go ahead and clarify. I'm not saying that you need to be in politics or something. I'm just saying, I think it's insane that people can evaluate a fictional world in such an informative manner, in such an excellent manner, and they can look from a very wide viewpoint in that world. But then when they look at the real world, it is just this narrow-minded, closed-minded view where they're automatically assuming that if you don't like this side, you're automatically on that side. If you don't like that side, you're automatically on this side. Every view that you have can be summarized as a Republican or a Democrat or left or libertarian or blah 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 blah. Right? Isn't it insane that someone who can acknowledge all of the complex, multi-layered issues in a fictional world, the reasons why these different factions feel the way that they do, the history that they have with one another, and form conclusions to say, in certain areas, I understand why they feel like this. I don't agree with them in this area, blah, 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 blah. But then, holy cow, the real world, nope. You're automatically a Trumper. You're automatically a Biden supporter. It's so stupid to me. It's like, I at least assume that most people, authors, writers, artists, are usually trying to tell you something. What that is sometimes a bit more obvious, and sometimes it's a bit more vague, what you get out of it, And the examples that I've used, let's say Dark Souls, for example, it's a bit more vague. There are obvious things that they say, but then there's a lot more vagueness there, With stuff like anime, for the most part, it's usually the power of friendship, right? It's usually the power of friendship, camaraderie, independence, having a dream, stuff like that, right? But then, holy cow, for some reason, all of that thinking, all of that, breakdown of the world, and nothing. And listen, people spend hours into this stuff. They spend hours learning this stuff. I'm almost wondering, if someone maybe a good way to educate the world would be through anime, And I'm not talking some kind of fan service. I'm talking some grit anime. Maybe if someone made an anime of World War II in World War One, and like a lot of these other wars and stuff like that. You know, maybe that would be a good way to educate people. But good luck doing that in freaking Netflix. And these days with the freaking cocksuckers that try and tell you that, oh, history is offensive, so I had to rearrange it in a manner that would make it more easy to consume. That's the kind of people you're listening to these days. And so, I don't know. Not that I really have any, I guess, desire to make an anime or something. It's like, it's insane to me that people can be so passionate about this stuff and just not understand. You know? Like, how can someone be so willing to understand, you know, like, the faults of, say, the Hidden Leaf Village, and then say, oh, well, my country's perfect. You should be loyal 100% to your country. I mean, they weren't loyal 100% either, you know. Well, the Uchiha was prideful. And you mention a prideful group in real life. Oh, you're a racist. You know, it's just... the closed-mindedness of people, despite how brilliant they can be, when it's something that they're passionate about, it's concerning. There's a certain level of cognitive dissonance that I'm noticing with that. There really is. I think personally that if you're going to follow fiction, if you're going to follow stories, it's usually because you like expanding thought, right? You like thinking on topics. I'm a very thinking person. I'm a very mental person. I've never really been into the physical, per se. I've always been into the mental. And when I look at stories and stuff like that, it's not that I always want to know what's going on, but I like knowing a bit better about the history and the cultures. I like art, you know. I like the world building and stuff like that. How worlds feel alive and stuff like that. I'm sorry that I'm saying stuff like that a lot, but still. You know, it's just kind of odd how easily people are willing to just pretend like all of that doesn't exist. You know? It really is. Because of a closed-minded view. I don't know, man. I think, personally speaking, if you're gonna have a heart for fiction, if you're gonna be passionate about fiction, then maybe you should use it as an outlet to learn, you know, not to be so quick to assume someone's position or their intentions. And instead, people still are hasty about that. I guess I thought I wanted to talk about this a bit more than what I actually did, but, you know, maybe other people can give insight into this, you know. Why do you feel so passionate about fiction? Why do you feel so passionate about fiction if it's not as... I mean, it's never really going to impact your life the same that the real world will. You know, as villainous as, you know, say a villain is in a fiction, yeah, they can change your worldview and stuff like that, but it's like you hate that sucker with a passion, and here's someone actually, you know, making your life miserable, and no one really seems to care. Because, again, I'm not really saying that you need to be in politics. I'm not saying that you need to, you know, follow this stuff to the T and whatnot. I'm not really saying that. Not at all. What I am saying is the level of concern that people give to a world that is never really going to exist. A world that no matter how much you dream to escape to will never happen. It's a bit odd. Because listen, I am passionate about fiction. I love comics. I like a few anime. Not really the biggest anime guy, like, personally. I like a lot of movies. I like the world of Avatar and stuff like that. But I never get to the point where I would look at that so much that I say I don't care about the actual world. That I don't care about what I actually have to put up with every day, that I have to deal with on the regular. Because holy cowdy, you have plenty to deal with on the regular, you know, like especially these days. Oh, what's that? Can't find a job, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Back in my day, you know, like, that's all I hear. Oh, well, we actually don't have an unemployment crisis because we're over here just smuggling in millions of people from other countries that are going to get paid way less than you, so no employment crisis, right? Alright, guys? You know, this is the stuff that I think about. And yes, it is nice to know the mental state of villains and the history of these fictional nations and to understand that things are not so black and white. It's nice to know that. But at the same time, you know, if you're not going to use it to shape your worldview, if you're not going to use it to at least learn not to be so quick to assume things, then what's the point? You know, what's the point of getting so enamored in this stuff to understand, I guess, the author's not marriage, but the message so much, and then just completely say, yep, throw it away the moment it applies to the real world? I'll never understand it. Never understand it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up too. So that's 2 shorter ones, but I don't really think I need to ramble longer than I need to, you know. So I'll go ahead and leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed. God bless, and I'll see you next time.